Hi guys, welcome to Little Wicket Railway. I'm Rob, and in this video we take a trip to the first ever Key Model World Live at the NEC in Birmingham. Since this was the first ever Key Model World Live event, I wasn't really sure what to expect, but in this video I'll try to give you an overview of the show, plus I managed to grab a couple of minutes to chat with Pete Waterman, and I've got some shots of the first ever public running of the brand new Accurascale Class 31. But first, what is Key Model World Live? Well, it was pitched as being an event where railway and scale modelling were brought together, and I think that pretty much sums it up. For someone like me who primarily likes model railways but is also fascinated by other types of scale modelling, I would say it's the perfect show. Railways definitely dominated, and that was evident from the Class 37 that Accurascale, one of the show's sponsors, had brought along as a centrepiece locomotive. D6808 is on its way to Ruddington to be overhauled, and Key Model World Live was just a stop on its journey, with Accurascale sponsoring the transport costs. But whilst the Class 37 may have been the biggest exhibit, Pete Waterman and the Rail Nuts Making Tracks The Final Frontier was by far the longest exhibit. At 208 feet long, it ran almost the full length of the exhibition hall, and during the show they were aiming to break the official Guinness World Record for the largest portable model railway, more on that later. Surrounding Making Tracks and the Class 37 were plenty of other traders and exhibitors covering almost every aspect of scale modelling. Hornby and Hornby magazine were both there. Hornby had a working version of their future model Locomotion 1 alongside a decorated sample, and they both looked stunning. There were also demo layouts showing off the latest P2 and Black 5 models in 00 gauge. I was taking particular interest in the Black 5 because I was in the middle of reviewing it, and I'll put a link to that review in the corner of this video. They also had a demo layout showing off some of their latest TT120 models, which aren't really for me, but they did look really good. Bachmann were there, and Woodland Scenics were offering some demos. Just alongside Hornby was their sister company Airfix with a display of their products, and I'd say that from my point of view, military vehicles and modelling were pretty well represented. There were rows and rows of military aircraft, and the West Midlands Police Scale Model Club put on a really good display. Tamiya had a presence with their stand, and next to them, Midland Military Vehicles have positioned two stunning restorations, an FV107 Scimitar and an FV434. Along the back wall was where all the RC planes could be found, and some of those from the Large Model Society were, as the name suggests, pretty large. Model boats and ships hadn't been left out, some incredibly detailed models, and I particularly like the lifeboats. Next year it'd be great if they could organise a pool so that we could see some of those in action. Large-scale radio-controlled trucks were on display driving around a fairly substantial road layout, which was very impressive, especially the large Meccano bridge. Pretty much everywhere you looked there were scale models, and it was brilliant to see so many different types of modelling being incorporated into one show. And I think it's fair to say that the main buzz was around Pete Waterman and the Railnuts' absolutely massive Making Tracks 3 The Final Frontier. Pete's celebrity status helped to pull in the crowds, the BBC were there to cover his world record attempt, and he was very much a man in demand. The official from Guinness World Records spent an absolute age checking all their measurements, but it was finally announced that they had broken the world record for the largest portable model railway. Pete Waterman might be a TV celebrity and one of the most famous music producers in the world, but he's also a brilliant railway modeller, and despite being incredibly busy, he was taking the time to chat with everybody. I managed to grab a few minutes with him to ask him about the world record and the layout.
Congratulations on the world record.
Thank you.
Was it ever in doubt or was it a sure thing?
The 7 hours yesterday was touch and go. I mean, you know, they wouldn't tell you the criteria, so they needed everything had to be proved. So all the measurements had to be scrutinised, all the equipment that we used for the scrutineering had to be checked. So then they decided at 2 o'clock they wanted to see one track measured actually with them there, which they hadn't told us they wanted to do. So that put us back 2 hours.
It doesn't take a long time.
Yes, no, it was so, yeah, it was...
But you got there.
It was always in doubt, yeah.
And how have you found the show in general?
Oh, it's been a fantastic show. It's been a fantastic, I mean, I'm absolutely completely gone, but I mean, because, you know, we've got still 3 hours to take this down.
Yep.
So we won't be out of here till 9:30 tonight. And the pint will go down like you won't believe.
And what's the future plans for this then?
We're going back to Chester in July, and then we'll do the Great Electric Train show in October. Then we're back to Blakemere for Christmas. That's our local show. And then we're looking at coming here next year, but make it interactive. So there is a problem with this layout. It breaks fire regulations. So to bring it into the hall, the NEC only allow 140 feet. So we had to write special instructions to get it past that. So they've allowed us this year to monitor it. Then they've said we can't do it next year, but if we come back the year after that and this is successful, they'll give us one more 208 feet.
I think you've got to bring it back because I know guys who saw it on the BBC yesterday morning in London and were up here by lunchtime because they needed to see it.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I think when people walk in, it is, oh my God, it is massive.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
I was at the show helping to operate a model railway called Halland, which is owned by John, who you might recognise from his YouTube channel, John JMC. It was a fantastic weekend playing trains alongside fellow operators Jenna, Sam, David and Ben. The final highlight of the show for me was when Richard Watson allowed us to run the yet-to-be-released Accurascale Class 31 on Halland. Whilst John installed the decoder, Richard explained more about the model.
This is the final production sample of R31. It's been in my possession for probably 2 weeks at most. So this is basically the last sample the project manager will have. The last time he'll have to do any revisions to it before the factory actually make the whole lot and then ship them. So it's quite a special moment for a project manager for a company with this, because the loco is pretty much done at that point.
And this was the first time that the Accurascale Class 31 had ever been seen running in public, and it looked to be an absolutely stunning model. And with that, Key Model World Live was done, and I think it was a massive success. I know the team were very happy with how many people came through the doors, and they've already announced that it will be back next year, and they've got plans to make it even bigger and better. Personally, I absolutely loved it. Whilst there was a good range of modelling on show, it did feel like railway modelling was the main focus, and personally I'd like to see it embrace a wider variety of modelling so that it sets itself apart and isn't in direct competition with other large railway exhibitions. In future, I'd love to see a pool with RC sailing boats, maybe some representation for model rocketry, and it'd be great to see some demos of technology that can be used by all model makers such as 3D printers and laser cutters. It would be brilliant if there was a small presentation area where guest speakers from different modelling communities could give talks about their specialist areas. And I say this about pretty much every show, but it'd be great if they could find a way to make it more appealing to kids, maybe with more hands-on activities or a dedicated kids zone. Anyway, that's about it for this video. Massive thanks to everyone involved with putting on the show. Special thanks to all my YouTube members and patrons for your support, and it was great to meet some of you at the show, and I hope to see you again next year. If you've enjoyed this video, then please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I will hopefully see you again soon.